Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing the credit card project, and I've noticed that some of us are kind of struggling with this. So, to provide a little bit of feedback and help, I've actually gone through a sample of the credit card project in this video that will hopefully help you finish up as we prepare for our Unit 9 test. Also, this is for 8th period because I will not get to see them today, Tuesday, March 28th. So this will kind of help to illustrate what is expected of you as we continue this project. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, reminded that this is just a sample. Your answers will vary from mine. In fact, they should not be the exact same as mine because that'll tell me you just copied it down. But it gives you an idea of where each of these numbers comes from and how to solve it. So, reminder that our task one, we figured out that our monthly income after our taxes was $2,720, and that our monthly paycheck, if it was split into twice a month, would come out to be $1,360. So when we do finally get paid, that is what it will charge. These are the samples that I chose. So I chose the apartment for $1,240, used car, cell phone was the iPhone with the $35 plan. I chose to only have internet, no cable, but Disney and Netflix combined for about $19. I did take a Planet Fitness membership for $10 and food cost of $150 again. So my choices are going to differ from yours, I'm sure. Not to mention the fact that the checking account and everything else is going to differ. So you can see how I organized mine per week. So week 1, based on the slideshow that's in Canvas. Week 2, that's how I split it up. And so I got my checking account all the way down to $31, which is above the minimum of $25, before I eventually, when we got the payday, split my paycheck up and put $400 back into my checking account, and then $960 took off of my credit card, okay? So you can see my final balance on my credit card is $3,381, and that is after charging all of these expenses. All right, so now you're going to take that amount, and for task 3, it says, what are credit card rewards? So this just gives you a feedback of the rewards that you can receive from each of the different types of credit cards. This is how many miles you could travel free for Southwest. So the first thing, it says 2 points per dollar spent on the following: internet, cable, phone, and streaming. Only spent on your credit card. So if any of those items are in your checking ledger, you cannot count them, okay? You must only count those that you put on your credit card ledger. So in my case, I had both my internet bill and my cell phone bill were both on my credit card ledger. And you can see that here, my cell phone and my internet of $50. So I could count those, but my streaming service was over here on the right side of my checking, so I can't count my streaming. So I count that up, gives me 116. I double that because 2 points per dollar spent. That gives me 232 points or miles for Southwest. And then my final of my credit card before I paid anything off was $4,341. So if you subtract the cell phone and the internet from that number, $4,341, right? $4,341. If I subtract these items that I already tallied, that gives me $4,225 spent on the credit card, and that's how many points I've earned there. So when you add those together, that's where you get that number. So again, look in your own ledger and see which of these items you paid for with the credit card. It may be 0. You might have a big fat 0 right there in terms of points earned. That's okay. But you should definitely have some points here. Okay. Chase Freedom is a little bit different. So it's kind of the same thing, but now you're going to look at that credit card ledger and you're only getting 3% cash back on restaurants or dining. You may put your food bill here. Okay. So the 100 does not count. If you have 100, you cannot put it there. But if you have $150 or $200 that you paid for food weekly, you can put those on there. So in my case, I did food for the 4 weeks. I did it twice on my credit card and twice on my checking account. So that's why I only have 2 of them here. But I did also pay for pins on my credit card. So I'm adding those up. 3% cash back, so I'm multiplying it by 0.03, and that tells me that if I use the Chase Freedom credit card, I would have earned $11.40 back. And then 1% for all other purchases, which we calculate the same way we did up above. We take our total amount which was, I think I messed that up actually. Because I was supposed to subtract 380, not from 4225, but from 4,341. So I should have used that same number. So that is a mistake on my part. This should have been 4,341, just like it was up here. Only this time I'm subtracting 380, which gives me a different number. Sorry, let me calculate that real quick. Let's see, 4,341 minus 380 gives me 3,961 times 1% is just going to move the decimal over, so that's going to be $39.61. Okay, so $39.61, which is actually a little bit more. And then I combine that with $11.40, and that's going to give me a little bit more here. That's nice. 5101. Okay, so that's when you put those two together. Okay, all right, task 4. So this number right here, the ending balance on your credit card, again, this is going to differ from mine, but my ending balance was $3,381 after my paycheck. That's what goes there. It says your credit card has an annual interest rate of 21%. So that's going to be our interest rate. Change that to a decimal. Your starting value is your credit card balance, 3,381, okay? Put that into your function, 1 plus 21%. So this is gonna be how much interest you're gonna owe the bank based on that credit card. And I know it's a huge bill, so this is just gonna teach you about interest a little bit. So let's say you don't pay anything on your credit card. How much are they going to charge you after your first year? So you can plug in 1 year. That's how much they're going to charge me. Remember that my initial balance was here. So now how much of the total above is interest is this amount minus my initial. So I'm going to end up paying $700 in 1 year just from all the money that I charged on my credit card. And then after 5 years, the bill is going to be $8,769 if I don't pay anything. So I'm going to end up paying over $5,000 in interest to the bank just for using their credit card and not paying cash, right? So that's kind of the difference there. All right, moving on. Task 5, what if you only pay the minimum payment? So oftentimes, the minimum payment on a credit card is only $25. Okay, and that's because they want you to pay interest. They want you to pay interest. So they're only going to charge you a little bit. That's not going to be enough to pay off your taxes or your interest. Now, your monthly interest rate is 1.75%. It's basically 21% broken down by 12 months. Okay, so you're going to actually complete this for 4 months. You take your final credit card balance. Okay, you multiply it by your monthly interest rate, which is right here. 0.0175 when you convert it as a decimal, and that tells me that every month they're going to charge me $59 in interest, right? Take my initial balance, multiply it by my interest rate, gives me my interest cost, okay? So I'm going to add that to my total, so $33.81 plus $59.17 gives me $3,440.17. Then I make my minimum payment of $25, and that gives me my new balance. Okay, so what happened is my credit card is so high right now that my minimum balance, even after I pay this payment, is still higher than what I started at. And it's going to continue to do so. So then you take this now new amount for the next month, put that up top, multiply it by your rate, get your interest amount, add it to your total, subtract your minimum payment, gives you a new balance. And you just continue that trend. So this number at the bottom is going to go at the top. And then you multiply by 0.0175, blah, blah, blah. And so it should continue until you get a final balance after 4 months of how much you're going to owe. And then lastly, task 6, credit cards versus debit cards. So based on this analogy, right, where you're making only a minimum payment or where you're making no payment, is what have you learned about credit card usage and debit cards? What are some of the pros of having a credit card? What are some of the cons? So you can research the difference between these, be clear and concise in your descriptions. You may Google and use an appropriate website or ask an adult. Each response should be a full sentence. Okay, so I know that's kind of a long video, but this will hopefully help you on that credit card. If you still have questions, you can Canvas message me. But again, the first question I'm gonna ask is, did you watch and listen to this video? okay? All right, I will see some of you guys in class. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out. Have a great rest of your day.